All right, welcome to week 2. This is one of the best weeks of the whole class, maybe even your entire college career, because of what you get to study. So you're going to read chapter 2, the Constitution and its origins. Read it because there will be information from it on the midterm. Then you're going to read the Articles of Confederation. So when we declared our independency in July of 1776, we formed a new nation. Prior to that, we'd been just British colonies. So we were operating under the common law of England. Now we're our own country. What's the law? So they created the Articles of Confederation. And for extra credit, you may send me in a message or an email the name of our first president. His name is not George Washington. The Articles of Confederation formed the United States of America. And we had a president, so send me his name for extra credit. All right, so this week you're reading chapter 2. You're reading the Articles of Confederation. They are linked in the assignment. You are reading Federalist number 21, linked in the assignment. You're reading the Constitution of the United States of America, linked in the assignment. You don't have to read the amendments. You can if you want to. Not required for this assignment. We will be getting to them later. But at least read the Constitution. Then work through the assignment. So in many segments of the assignment, for example, the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution have some similarities. You're going to have to read both documents to figure out what they are. I want you to tell me the article and section of the Articles of Confederation and the article and section of the Constitution that are similar. Should you fail to include the article and section, you will not get credit. So reach out with questions. It's very important that you cite to exactly where you're pulling this information. Same thing for the differences. There are substantial differences. The Articles of Confederation was a disaster. It left the states way too much power in the states' hands. And so then, when we needed to come together and work as a country, it's like herding cats. Nobody wanted to do it unless it was in their best interest. And the smaller states needed the bigger states, so the bigger states didn't necessarily think they needed the smaller states, and so it was a disaster. So in 1787, they got together and they wrote the Constitution. So there you go. You're going to get to read all of these fabulous documents. And even though the Articles of Confederation was a disaster, it's still important to read it, understand it, and know about it. It's what laid the foundation for the coming Constitution. So that's your assignment this week. And Federalist 21 is in there. So the Federalist Papers, there were 87, I think, maybe 85, 87 essays written by Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison. James Madison is called the father of the Constitution. Alexander Hamilton was a huge player, mover, shaker in government, in the founding of our government, the forming of our government. John Jay was our first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So these are brilliant thinkers. They wrote the Federalist Papers under a pseudonym, a pen name, and they published them in newspapers around the colonies, the states, because they needed to get support for the ratification of the Constitution. And so sometimes most of the time, when you want to know what something in the Constitution means, the Federalist Papers is one of the first places to go because they were explaining, here's this provision of the Constitution, here's how it is in the Articles of Confederation, here's how we're fixing it, this is why you should ratify the Constitution. So the 21st one is written by Alexander Hamilton, and it really details some important differences and how those differences are corrected in the Constitution. So that's why you're reading Federalist 21. So all of the reading is linked in the assignment except for chapter 2. You have to go to the textbook for chapter 2. Anyway, I look forward to, this is like some of the best thinking in the history of government right here. And you're getting to read it and study it and work with it. It's a privilege. Okay, have a great week and reach out with questions.